Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Chris Maloney once again for CWNonline.ca. This is your CWN Recap for WWE Clash of Champions 2020, taking place earlier tonight. Just about 15 minutes ago, actually ended up going off the air. The interesting thing was I didn't think it was actually going to go until at least even 9:30, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the McIntyre versus Orton match ends up going to about I think 9:20, 9:25, and then all of a sudden the main event between Reigns and Uso ends up almost going to 10 o'clock. So I was surprised it actually went the full 3 hours. But like I said, this is the recap show. If you are watching live, feel free to comment, send an email to feedback@cwnonline.ca. Let me know what you thought of the show. If you're, like I said, if you're watching live, throw up a comment to me, let me know, and I'll read the comment here on the air and answer any kind of questions that you guys have. But yeah, as far as the show goes tonight, I give probably a solid 8 out of 10, and I didn't expect it to be that great. When you look at it, it was kind of a rushed pay-per-view. None of the matches made real big sense as far as why these people are getting title shots. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, it was a good solid pay-per-view. Like I said, about 8 out of 10. So here it is. Breaking news was to start the show as far as the kickoff goes. And basically, breaking news regarding two WWE Clash of the Champions matches. Bayley will address the SmackDown Women's Championship situation tonight on WWE Clash of Champions with her opponent unable to compete. Nikki Cross, who is scheduled to challenge for the title, is not medically cleared. Additionally, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are not medically cleared and will not defend the Women's Tag Team Championship against the Riot Squad tonight. Situation surrounding the titles will be addressed tomorrow night on Raw. Tune into Clash of Champions tonight, 7 p.m., yada, yada, yada. This was WWE.com, by the way. And watch Raw tomorrow night to learn what's next for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So this is what had started off as far as the pay-per-view went, the kickoff went. So obviously 9 matches had been announced. Like I said in my predictions show, I predicted all 9 matches. Nothing had been added, but 2 matches at this point had been subtracted. So we'll have to wait and see where it goes as far as the pay-per-view goes and how they play out things. But the interesting thing about this was there was 2 comments on Twitter, and this was during the kickoff as well. So the breaking news came, WWE.com, but Charlie Caruso addressed that as far as the kickoff show went. And then on Twitter at 6:37, Nia Jax posted, my tag partner is expecting. So immediately you think she's talking about Shayna Baszler. Immediately you think that all of a sudden, hey, maybe Shayna Baszler is actually pregnant. And it's like, why would Shayna Baszler be pregnant? She's basically at the prime of her career. But the thing is, Nia Jax had posted an emoticon, an emoji, so to speak, of a pregnant lady beside that tweet, and all of a sudden it got, kind of fans wondering. So that was 6:37. So 6:57 comes 20 minutes later. Shayna Baszler posts on Twitter. She goes, "I'm expecting dot 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 dot." To die from a broken heart because of the Vikings. So apparently she was watching the Minnesota Vikings game. It wasn't the greatest, I guess. I don't know the score, don't know anything about the game, but that is what Shayna Baszler had posted 20 minutes after Nia Jax had done it. So that was that. One kickoff match. So I'd announced in the prediction show that was supposed to be Asuka taking on Zelina Vega. That did not happen. The kickoff match itself was Cesaro Nakamura defeating the Lucha House Party. So that was Kalisto and Lince Dorado with Gran Metalik at ringside. They defeated them by pinfall after Nakamura pinned Kalisto to retain. Basically, Cesaro put Kalisto in the swing, and then also when Nakamura felt it was time, he ended up hitting the Kinshasa. If I wish I could pronounce that properly, but anyways, yeah. So Kalisto goes down to defeat. No dissension at all between the Lucha House Party, which was kind of weird. The match ended about 6:46, 6:47, I believe. So not enough time for Asuka versus Zelina Vega at that. This is my I guess my beef, so to speak, for the night. If they know 2 matches aren't taking place, as far as the event goes, because of, for whatever reasons, they Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross aren't cleared to wrestle, why even give us a kickoff match? Why not just do extended previews of the matches that are going to take place? They had Booker T, they had Pete Rosenberg, they had JBL, and they had Charlie Caruso on the panel tonight. So why even put a match on this? Because to me, it took away from the pay-per-view itself. Because all of a sudden now you've got a match, so you've down to 7 matches. You're basically you've got one match taking place on the kickoff, the pre-show, and now you're left with 6 matches as far as the pay-per-view goes. Obviously, like I said, I gave the pay-per-view itself 8 out of 10. But I would have, not put any matches on the pre-show. So that is my opinion there. We go into the match number 1 of the night, and they announced this on the kickoff show. So Sami Zayn taking on AJ Styles, taking on Jeff Hardy for the IC title in a triple threat ladder match. Some highlights of this. So Hardy doing a spot through Zayn in front of the announcer's table off a 20-foot ladder. The cool thing about this is they had referenced this in the pre-show. They had referenced this before the match had taken place of Hardy doing the WrestleMania 17 spot. Not 17, so WrestleMania 2017 spot, where he had made the comeback and ended up putting Sheamus and Cesaro through the ladder. So they had referenced that there. So Hardy does the same thing tonight, ends up putting Sami Zayn through the ladder right in front of the announcer's table there. Sami Zayn decides to bring out handcuffs when he comes back to life. He's got 2 sets. One set, basically he takes puts through Jeff Hardy's ear. So Jeff Hardy's got the big old the earlobes because of the earrings and I forget what the actual name of it is called. But he ends up putting one hoop through there, the other hoop through one of the rungs of the ladder. So Jeff Hardy's ear at this point is attached to the ladder. So that was one setup. So Jeff Hardy's outside of the ring attached to a ladder. He's done basically at this point. So Sami Zayn goes into the ring, takes the other set of handcuffs, attaches one of them to AJ Styles, and then goes and thinks about setting it up to attach him to the ropes. But then he stalls out. And then he goes to set up a ladder in the middle of the ring, which was kind of confusing itself. Then he goes back to AJ Styles. And when he goes back to AJ Styles starts mounting a defense against Sami Zayn. So when this takes place, all of a sudden, Sami can't get the cuffs on him. So Sami ends up getting suplexed. And while he's getting suplexed, he ends up getting cuffed himself. So it's AJ Styles on one side of the handcuffs, Sami Zayn on the other side of the handcuffs. And all of a sudden, how is AJ Styles going to pick up a 220-pound, 230-pound guy, climb this ladder to reach the titles? Jeff Hardy, at this point, like I said, is outside of the ring. He has no clue, no reason at all to get back in the ring to try to climb the ladder as his ear is attached to another ladder. So it was comical, but it was entertaining all at the same time. You know what I mean? So AJ Styles picks up Sami Zayn on his back. He decides to start climbing the ladder. Jeff Hardy, for whatever reason, decides to get into the ring with the ladder attached to his ear. And the next thing AJ Styles is climbing the ladder with Sami Zayn on his back. Jeff Hardy's in the ring as well, trying to shoo off AJ Styles as he's got the ladder attached to his ear. Sami has got a key. Unattaches himself from the handcuff, attaches AJ Styles to the mid post of the ladder. So he's got Jeff Hardy attached with his ear to one ladder, AJ Styles attached to the current ladder with the set of handcuffs, and Sami Zayn just basically climbs up, grabs the titles, and big old smile on his face, and that is that. So if you caught my predictions show, Sami Zayn, king of the mountain tonight. So he was on the top of the ladder holding both championships. AJ stuck by handcuffs. Jeff Hardy stuck by handcuffs, and Sami Zayn's just basically, telling it like it is. I'm the best. I'm the champion. And he didn't announce himself as a new champion. He announced himself as still champion, which was, to me, storyline. It's huge as far as where they're going to go with this. So yeah, congrats to Sami Zayn. It was definitely an interesting match. The announcers put it over like crazy. Corey Graves, Michael Cole. Said they'd never seen anything like this. Cole actually said in 24 years he's been doing this, had never seen anything like this. So it's definitely one of those things. If you didn't catch Clash of Champions tonight, seek out that match. So seek out the triple threat match tonight that took place between Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles in the ladder match for the Intercontinental titles. And it was Sami doing the same thing Razor Ramon had done, both titles hanging in the air. So congrats to the Canadian Canuck crowd right there. So we go backstage at this point. So Drew Gulak, who's basically sitting in the background. R-Truth at this point had been on the pre-show, the kickoff show, disguised himself. So all of a sudden we see a backstage promo. R-Truth is in the back, still in the same disguise, ends up in the referee's lounge. And it's like, oh, and all of a sudden the little Jimmy references are taking place as well. So R-Truth would be like, my bad, I'm in the wrong spot, so to speak. Goes out into the hallway again, and next thing you know, one of the referees follows him. And Drew Gulak is seen in the background. So next thing you know, Drew Gulak is, he's like, holy crap, 24/7 championship, referee right there. I'm going to take advantage of it. So Gulak pins R-Truth, wins the 24/7 championship, and then takes off. And, R-Truth is having words with little Jimmy at that point. So that was backstage segment right there. Match number 2 of the night, Asuka defeats Zelina Vega by submission. Basically nothing really happened in match. Asuka selling to the best of her, ability against or to Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega obviously isn't that skilled in the ring, but Asuka did her best to make her look like a superstar. Post-match, basically, Asuka extended her hand, to shake Zelina's hand, and basically Zelina wouldn't shake hands, and then she cheap shot at Asuka. So Asuka starts talking Japanese and yelling at Zelina, and basically it looks like it's not over at this point. So we might see it continue on Raw tomorrow night, so we'll have to wait and see there. Match number 3 of the night, Lashley defeats Apollo Crews by submission with the Hurt Lock to retain. Lashley had come out with Shelton Benjamin as well as MVP. Apollo Crews had come out with Ricochet. Solid match, but again, like I've said in the past couple of weeks, I can't wait to see this feud over. I'm sick and tired, and don't get me wrong, Apollo Crews is a technical, gifted wrestler, but I'm tired of this feud. Send Apollo Crews to SmackDown, send him down to NXT, whatever the case is. But you know what? I'm tired of this feud with the Hurt Business. So let the Hurt Business go on their way, let them do their thing, and Apollo Crews can kind of maybe, end up feuding with Ricochet down the line, because storyline-wise, what else is there for him to do? But Lashley, clean win, like I said, over Apollo Crews by submission with the Hurt Lock, which is the full Nelson there. Match number 4 of the night, Street Profits defeat Andrade and Angel Garza by pinfall. The biggest thing about this, Dawkins goes and pins Andrade, and when I say pins in quotes, Andrade, and so basically I put the referee in quotes messed up. Now, whether or not that was true, so if you had seen anything with regards to Raw the past couple weeks and Mickie James, you basically screwed out of that, the match with. I think it was, I think it was with Asuka that night. But anyway, the referee screwed up. Well, he screwed up again tonight. So it was basically, if you ever seen WrestleMania 3, and I'm going to date myself here, but have you ever seen WrestleMania 3 and Hogan and Andre? And basically, Andre goes to pin Hulk Hogan because Hogan goes for the body slam. Andre falls on top of him. Hogan gets his shoulder up, but it's like basically a 2.5. And all of a sudden you hear Ventura and Monsoon, was that a 2 or was it a 3? This and that. Well, it was definitely a 2 on Andrade. But the referee counts 3. He awards the match to the Street Profits. Andrade is kind of PO'd. He eventually goes on Twitter and says what he needs to say. Don't know if this was a spot because the referee thought Andrade was hurt, whether or not it had nothing to do with the Street Profits. They were fine. So Andrade or Angel Garza, whether or not either one of those guys was hurt, I don't know. But the referee called the match. It was definitely a 2 count. Andrade got his shoulder up, and the referee still awarded the match to the Street Profits. So I don't agree with that. I don't know what's going on. And when I say that, it's one of those things that WWE has been doing this more often than not. So is it Vince McMahon not liking the match? Be like, okay, we're just going to do whatever we want to. Just call it off. And it's one of those things. It's hey, let it be, okay? If you're gonna sit there and before the match happens, play it out, decide who wins, who loses, whatever the case may be. Have it happen, especially in a tag team match. So if the guy Andrade, for example, who's in the ring is injured, okay, pull him out of the match, continue the match, have a backup plan, have an audible as the NFL calls it, and then basically go and switch to that audible because all of a sudden Andrade can't continue in the match. But Andrade, like I said, had come on Twitter later on and he was PO'd, and the fact is that match should not have played out the way it did. So the fact is, what happens on Raw tomorrow night? Basically, this is what I'm predicting right now, okay? Andrade, Angel Garza come out. They say they got screwed. They want a rematch. Rematch happens on Raw. I can't see it going to Hell in a Cell, so I'm going to say tomorrow night rematch on Raw because the referee had screwed up. We got some comments here, and let me see. Yeah, good old Sean Bates, the scumbags of wrestling, and I mean that with a lot of love because he was my best man at my wedding. He goes, "Hey, you're doing on now," and Sean, get your English fixed there. And he follows up by Garza might have been hurt too. The referee put up the X. I didn't see the referee put up the X, but that would make a lot of sense there. And you know what? The same thing with Mickie James. That referee, but the problem is with the Mickie James thing. That referee is notorious, absolutely notorious for screwing things up. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch some of his matches. He's horrible. Tonight, maybe the referee thought, and you know what? I was thinking about this as the pay-per-view was going on. Err on the side of caution. We're in COVID right now. You don't have a lot of superstars. You never know when one of them's going to take ill and be basically on the shelf for 2 weeks. So what do? You err on the side of caution. So I understand that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see tomorrow night on Raw where this goes. Next match of the night, where are we? Profits. So actually, it was backstage promo, and I kind of laughed at this. So backstage promo, Drew Gulak's in a backstage promo, being interviewed. States Tozawa was apparently eaten by a shark. So apparently that's clarification of Tozawa is no longer alive because a shark ate him. And then R-Truth comes up from behind, defeats Gulak for the 24/7 championship once again. So we have new champion for tonight, and then another new champion for tonight. So R-Truth comes in as champion, leaves as champion, but there was a title change. But the like I said, the fact that they brought up Tozawa got eaten by a shark was it made me laugh. So anyway, it's kind of cool. Twitter announced the future is on the clock. The 2020 WWE Draft begins Friday, October the 9th on SmackDown and continues Monday, the October the 12th on WWE Raw. So the draft is happening, guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially with COVID taking place. But yeah, so that is October 9th on SmackDown and October 12th on WWE Raw. That is still while the WWE Thunderdome is in effect. So look forward to that. Next segment, in-ring promo with Bayley. She comes out as a SmackDown Women's Champion. Says Nikki Cross is supposed to compete. Didn't compete, obviously. She comes out and basically says, hey, give me an opponent. No opponent shows up in like a good 5 seconds that she actually waited. She tells the referee to announce her as the winner. Asuka comes out, basically says, well, it doesn't say anything at all, but Asuka comes out and basically the match is on. So it's Asuka versus Bayley. Bayley comes, and destroys Asuka with a chair. So Asuka wins by DQ. Post-match, as they called in the pre-show, or sorry, not the pre-show, but the prediction show, was Sasha Banks shows up. She does. Swings a chair, hits Bayley with a bunch of weapons. And so Asuka wins by DQ. Bayley retains the title, and Sasha Banks destroys Bayley after the match. Not as bad as Bayley destroyed Sasha Banks, but she still made her message known, so to speak. So obviously that feud's going to take place. And ironically enough, and I'll actually get to this in a few moments here, but next pay-per-view comes up, and I can see the two of them going at it, especially with the pay-per-view being what it is. Before I get to the semi-main event, another comment. I'm gonna predict it's Sean again. Let's see. Hey, there we go. So 2 comments actually. How about that burial of Sammy? Poor guy going to be lost upon his return. Hey, Sean, screw you, dude. There's, you know what? I will address this after I get to a second comment here. Oh, it's not even about Sami Zayn. It's about Bayley. Bayley's a great heel. Unfortunately, Sasha should be a heel. I'm enjoying Bayley as a heel. She is the Karen. With regards to this comment here, and then, you know what? I'll put it on this show. I was gonna wait for weekly to come up for episode 7, but I'll do it right now. So back in the day, when I say back in the day, I'm talking like I think July or so. I used to have this podcast I did with Sean Bates and then Stephen O'Neill and the one and only Mr. Jones at times as well, called TNT Thursday Night Throwdown. So with that being said, I'm getting rid of this comment because I want to see my lovely face. With that being said, though, we used to do this podcast, and we lasted 29 episodes, and it just a lot of different reasons, but it came to an end. But the fact is, when it came, I think it was episode 18, at the 30-minute mark, and you can't see it on CWN. I went back, I think tonight, and I think CWN has 23 324 maybe as far as the episodes go. But if you go and look on YouTube for TNT Thursday Night Throwdown, I believe the URL no, it's actually not a URL because it's with YouTube it's different. But just search TNT Thursday Night Throwdown. Episode 18, you can hear my comments on Sami Zayn and how he gets screwed, and the comments about how he's going to come back and be forgotten about and blah, 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 blah. Well, anyways, Sean made a comment, and then he actually, after the match ended tonight, he still made a comment through Facebook. But here it is. Yeah, yes, I was absolutely wrong about it. Whether or not I'm going to shave the beard, I don't know. I might have a heel turn going on. I might say my fingers were crossed when I was saying what I said. But yes, I definitely said Sami Zayn was going to get screwed. He was going to get forgotten about. And that was my theory, and that was my picks. Well, guess what? He didn't get screwed. He came back. He still had the IC title. He gets in the triple threat match. Go back and look at my prediction show, okay? I said, what's the best scenario that could actually take place? And it was Sami Zayn basically winning the IC title and basically saying, I told you so. And that's exactly what happened tonight. But I'll admit, I was wrong with my comments back in whatever episode 18 was, I think back in May. But I'll own up to it. Whether or not the beard's coming off, I don't know. It's whether or not, I shaved it just before CWN started. So whether or not I take it off, I don't know. And I see the comments coming up again, but maybe I'll donate instead. Maybe I'll donate towards Sean's charity as opposed to getting rid of the beard. So that'll be the happy medium right there. But yes, I was wrong. Sami Zayn, as much as I love what's going on right now, I was wrong with my predictions back in May. So let's see the comments here. Sean says LOL. Sean follows up by May. Sean follows up by boo. So I will make a donation towards Steven's wrestling journey. That is the happy medium right there, because I am enjoying growing this beard out again. And when I look back to those days, the May days, so to speak, when I had predicted with regards to the Sami Zayn scenario and everything else, and I look at that beard, I am jealous that I don't have that beard anymore. So it's going to take me probably till February or March, WrestleMania, even to get that beard back to where it was. So I will make a donation towards Steven's wrestling journey as opposed to shaving the beard. That is my happy medium right there. So we'll leave it at that. So getting back to the card here, as Sean has officially hijacked this show. and the funny thing is I invited him to be a guest on the show tonight. I was like, hey, if you're not doing anything else, come on, comment, watch the show. We'll do the recap together, whatever else. Nothing happens. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I start doing the show, and he's got 7-8 comments already. And I'm 25 minutes in. I've never been 25 minutes in as far as a recap show goes. But anyways, that is that. So match number 6, semi-main event, like I had said, to get back on track here. Drew McIntyre defeats Randy Orton to retain. The highlights of this match were kind of cool. So Big Show comes out to chokeslam Randy Orton mid-match through the announce table. And it was kind of unique, too, because all of a sudden, Randy Orton's against the ropes, and you just see this big, giant hand reach out. And all of a sudden, it's when they show close-up, it's a clean-shaven Big Show. Takes Randy Orton outside the ring, chokeslams him through the table, done. Then you get to a point, they get back to the ambulances. Apparently, the ambulances carry red chairs with the med symbol on them. Didn't know that. The announcers didn't know that either. Half of Twitter didn't know that as well. McIntyre Claymore through the ambulance door was cool. So Randy Orton was set up against the door. McIntyre comes running, hits the Claymore, but Orton moves, so the door ends up being knocked off, which was kind of cool. Christian attacks Orton backstage, ends up running him through the catering tables. McIntyre ends up at one point going through the windshield. Orton, this is the wrestling, the wrestler in him goes for the pin, and then wait a second, that's not happening. HBK ends up on the top of the ambulance at one point. Sweet chin music to Orton. Orton's just kind of stunned, and HBK just goes, see ya, and then all of a sudden Orton falls to the ground. So that was kind of comical as it was. McIntyre Claymore stuffs Orton in the ambulance. This was the finish of the match. Goes to shut the door, and then basically, wait a second here. Opens the door back up, so both doors are exposed. Randy Orton's head is hanging outside the ambulance. You can see where this is going. Punts Orton, and then wins the match. And then the coolest thing probably about this match, as far as comedy goes, was all of a sudden the sirens for the ambulance start ringing. Ambulance is about to take off, and then who you see in the driver's seat of the ambulance? The one and only Nature Boy Ric Flair. So Flair goes, and he's got a cracked windshield. And I'm thinking to myself, how is this guy going to be able to drive this ambulance at like 70 years old with a cracked windshield to the back? So anyways, but yeah, Orton gets defeated, and Nature Boy Ric Flair ends up driving him off. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's very great to see the guys come back and basically give Orton his due. So that would be the Big Show, Christian, HBK, and then obviously the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! I'll say that. Hell in a Cell announced for Sunday, October 25th, 2020. So that'll be the next pay-per-view for the WWE. WWE, I say, not NXT. So that's WWE. I'll get to that momentarily. So main event time. Well, actually, you know what? 2 more comments. Sean, this is the last one I'm going to talk about you here, because you got your own show. You can talk about yourself on there. So Sean goes, I was waiting to come on. You could have texted me or Facebooked me. I would have sent you a link. It's too late in the show. I'll be done in the next couple of minutes. And he goes, you didn't send a link. You didn't ask for the link. So there, we'll leave it at that. Goodbye, Sean. So anyways, yeah, that is that. Like I said, main event time. Roman Reigns defeats Jey Uso to retain the Universal Championship, and that's after Jimmy Uso throws in the towel. So highlights of the match: Reigns with a new look. Twitter quote made me laugh. This guy, I think he's down the Maritimes, had said, how come when I take my vest off, I don't break the internet? Obviously Roman Reigns, yeah, it was trending at one point, Roman Reigns without a shirt coming to the ring. So whatever. Reigns smack talk. This is an ass woman I was talking about. You should have just taken the payday. He's saying this to Jey Uso. You should have just laid down. So basically he's saying to Jey Uso, hey, look, it shouldn't have come to this. You should have been smart. You shouldn't have, basically gone and done the job and done the family right and not competed with me in the ring. Yeah, the whole big thing of this match was Roman Reigns smack talking. And if you want to know what it was about, if you haven't seen Clash, it was basically, if you ever seen Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and Reigns is destroying The Undertaker, and Reigns is like, stay down, stay down, stay down, and Undertaker won't stay down. Very similar to that, and Reigns is very gifted as far as that goes. From there, Uso series into a big splash. Reigns low blows to get the kick out. So Uso had started making a comeback. He turned a spear into, I think it was a roll up into a Samoan kick, and then ends up hitting the Uso splash. But the way that it was laid out, basically Roman Reigns is out on the canvas there. Uso's on top of him, and then Reigns comes up with his arm and low blows him to kick out of the pin. The referee obviously didn't see it. End of the match, Reigns spear, Reigns smack talk. Reigns spear, Reigns smack talk. Reigns then got real with the ref, and then Jimmy Uso shows up. Jimmy throws in the towel, and that is that. So Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship. Be interesting to see where they go with this as far as Hell in a Cell goes. Obviously, The Fiend's going to be on the sidelines. If you watch the, I don't know if it was a prediction show or weekly, I would love to see this continue to WrestleMania, to see Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania. The whole Samoan storyline. And you had seen glimpses in this match. You had seen basically Reigns saying, tell him that I'm the High Chief. Tell him that I'm the main guy. Tell him I'm the head of the table to Jey, and Jey wouldn't have anything of it. And all of a sudden Jimmy comes down and he says the same thing to Jimmy. Tell him to say this. And neither one of those guys would say anything at all. And basically it's Roman Reigns' head getting bigger than it actually should be. And the only one who's going to be able to shut him down storyline-wise, in my opinion, should be The Rock. And when it comes to that, it's going to be interesting because you're going to have a heel Roman Reigns against a face Rock. And I think a lot of fans are going to end up buying it, especially after all this COVID BS. And the fact is, I can't wait until it actually happens. And why is Sean's comments still up? Oh, let me see. Oh, Sean's got 2 more comments. Well, because his comment's still up, I'll throw up these other 2 comments here. It was nice. This is your life Randy match. Yeah, that's essentially what it was. Hey, you screwed everybody over, so everybody's going to screw you over in your main event here, your semi-main event. And then he goes, good main event, took more time than I expected, but gave good drama. Definitely agree with that. So, in saying that, like I said, when I was looking at the time, and all of a sudden I go into, I've got a lamp set up to give me better facial features, and everybody can see my handsomeness and stuff like that. But I go into the bedroom to get the lamp, and all of a sudden my wife looks at me and she goes, and it's like 8:38 or something like that, and she goes, "Wow, you're in here early?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "The main event's just about to come up." And I'm like, holy crap, like this is going to be done, pretty quick. Or the semi-main event was about to come up. I didn't expect it to go as long as it did, but it did, and it was an entertaining show. Like I said, 8 out of 10 for sure. As far as everything else goes, that was Clash of Champions right there. I will say this. I will say, you know what? I'll do this right now. I'll say my match of the night. Match of the night right there. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. It wasn't my original match of the night, but come down to the main event, the way it had played out, the smack talk that was in between, everything else. You got invested in it. If you're watching the main event itself and the Samoan lineage and the heritage and the storylines, everything else, that is what invested me into making this the match of the night, because of the fact I got intrigued. I got watching the screen. I was like, where's this going to go next? You know what I mean? And I didn't expect Jimmy Uso to come out, but he did. But my match of the night right there, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Wrestler of the night right there, Sami Zayn. It's hard to argue with that. It's one of the most unique finishes probably in the history of WWE in the past probably 20 years, as far as how to get those championships off that, off the rung after climbing a ladder. But yeah, Wrestler of the night, Sami Zayn, for sure. Like I said, match of the night, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. 3 more things to say before I sign off. Number 1, NXT TakeOver 31 takes place next Sunday, so I guess we'll be doing another recap prediction show, as well as we'll be talking about on CWN Weekly on Friday. But NXT TakeOver 31 takes place next Sunday, October 4th, 2020, 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. So look for the, like I said, the prediction show as well as the recap show. Sean, if you watch NXT, you can be part of the recap show next week. That is my invitation right there. Just let me know you want to be part of it, and I'll send you the link, dummy. Number 2, Broken Skull Sessions with Kurt Angle should be on still right now on the WWE Network. I know it started before I did the podcast, but I'm loving the Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions. He's had Mark Henry, The Undertaker. Who else has he had? It's some big names. Jerry the King Lawler, Bret Hitman Hart. So I think Kurt Angle is going to be, one of those guys too. That is just going to be an intriguing interview. So check that out after you're done watching my show here on the WB Network, Broken Skull Sessions with Kurt Angle. Hey, and number 3, here's a nice close-up for you, Sean, if you're still watching. See that logo right there? Yeah, New England Patriots beat the Las Vegas Raiders 36-20 today. Sean was chirping at halftime. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's only halftime." Blah 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 blah. Yep, 36-20, Sean. So your Raiders went down to my Pats today. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Sean's comment, but yeah, no worries. We'll get him on the show for next week for NXT, as long as the old timer's still awake there. But guys, it's been fun. It's been great as always. Like I said, you can always reach me at Chris Maloney, CWN, as far as Instagram, as far as Twitter goes as well. CWNonline.ca. You'll see articles. You'll see reviews, recaps. You can catch this show anytime you want to on that website, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. It's one more comment. Sean, this is it for the night. I tell you that. Oh, wait. You know what? I'll say push this on. It happens. Both teams are 2-1 after 3 games. It doesn't matter, okay? As The Rock says, it doesn't matter, because the fact is your friggin' Raiders still lost. Still lost to my Pats. That's all there is to it, okay? So your team sucked today. My team didn't suck today. Hence the hat. I've got a couple of them. So if you want to borrow one, if you want me to just send one to you, that's great. But yeah, so my Pats beat up on your Raiders. But I'm tired. That's what happens when you watch a 3-hour pay-per-view. And it's been a big weekend. And UFC was last night, and that was intriguing as well. So we'll get to that on CWN Weekly. But anyways, guys, as far as schedule goes, CWN Weekly episode number 7 comes this coming Friday. That'll take place 7 p.m. I did my Thunderdome experience, so I can't see me doing another one, so it should be me doing it live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook this coming Friday. as far as CWN Weekly Episode 7 goes. Like I said, with NXT taking place, so NXT 31 should be taking. Actually, it's weird because it's taking place on the Sunday. So we'll be doing the preview show, the prediction show, about 3 p.m. as always on Sunday. So next Sunday we'll do the prediction show at 3 p.m. for NXT. Sean, if you want to be part of that, let me know. Anybody else wants to be part of that as well, as long as you get wrestling knowledge, let me know as well. Feedback at cwnonline.ca or Chris at cwnonline.ca, or if I'm friends with you, just friggin' message me. And then after that, we'll do the recap show. With NXT, usually goes about 2.5 hours, so probably about 9:30 next Sunday night for the recap show for NXT TakeOver 31. A lot of big matches being built up. Be interesting to see Kyle O'Reilly taking on Finn Balor. That is interesting for me. But yeah, I didn't expect this show to go 38 minutes, but Sean hijacked it. So blame Sean if I'm talking too much. But the voice is starting to crack, and I've done 3 shows in the past couple of days, so it's time to take a break. But like I said, I will see everybody this coming Friday for CWN Weekly episode number 7. We'll probably see Sean online for probably the prediction show as well as the recap. We'll have to wait and see there. And then, yeah, I've got, I guess the big news I should announce as well is I may be returning to Fantasy Warfare Tournament coming up. So that is now hosted by Sean, owned by Sean, run by Sean. So if it sucks, you can blame his interest in football. If it doesn't suck, then you can basically say, hey, it's Chris being back on the show. So anyways, I'll let you guys know on CWN Weekly that's coming Friday on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And now I'm just rambling. So for that, this has been great. If you didn't check out Clash of Champions, like I said, 8 out of 10 tonight. Match of the night, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Wrestler of the night, Sami Zayn. And that is it, guys. So I will catch everybody this coming Friday for the live edition of CWN Weekly, Episode 7, cwnonline.ca. That is it. Take care, guys. Have a great week. I will see everybody on Friday.